Hello, in this video we are looking at Bodhicaryavatara, chapter 6, verse 31. Evam paravashang sarvang yadvasham supichavashah nirmanavadacheshteshu bhaveshu kva kupyate. I'll now call it up on the screen. Oops, sorry. Yeah, sorry for that glitch. Here we are, it's up on screen. Evam paravashang sarvam yadvasham supichavashaha nirmanavadacheshtehu bhaveshu kva kupyate. Evam, in that way. We have this in Evam maya shrutam, Pali Evam me sutang, thus have I heard. Evam can refer either to what follows, as in thus have I heard, or it can refer to what has gone before. In this case, it refers to what has gone before, but evam, in that way, in other words, in the way that we've been describing in the earlier verses. Sarvam paravasham. Sarvam, meaning everything. Sarva means all. It makes its nominative plural not sarva but sarve. Oops. Let me just call up my iPad screen for you. So sarva, which is in Pali we have sabba. It follows the pronominal declension, and so the nominative plural masculine is sarve, not sarva. So sarve. And Pali follows that model, which is why in Pali you get sabbe. For example, you get in Pali, sabbe satta, all beings. Sabbe satta sukhita hontu, may all beings be happy. So sarva. Sarva, if you use the neuter plural, the neuter singular form, sarvam, that means all in the sense of everything. You can also use it in a neuter plural, sarvani, meaning all things, everything. So you can use it in the plural or the singular. If you use the plural, sarvani, that tends more to have the meaning of you're looking at everything, a multitude of different things, but looked at all of them. The neuter singular is just, it means everything or all. It's rather the same as the distinction in English, all things and everything. So all things, you're talking about a whole lot of different things and then all of them, but everything, just look at everything as one totality. The meaning is essentially the same, but with a slight difference of emphasis. So evam, in that way, sarvam, everything, is verb to be, is left out here, is paravasham, other willed, other powered. In other words, subject to the will or the power of something else, in the power of something else. So get the text back up. Here we are. So para means other. It's from that same word we have para, meaning ashore. The prajna param ita, the wisdom gone to the far shore. So para, it's cognate actually with our English word far, that which is far from you, rather than next to you. That's why it has the meaning of other. So evam paravashang is other powered, under the power of something else. Everything is operating under the power of something else. So incidentally, this word vasha Yeah. Um, the original meaning of it, vasha, means a wish from the root vash. So vasha, the wish, and then the will, and then exercising your will over something else, exercising power over something else, and it's cognate with the English word wish. So, and it's come through the Germanic line, and in German we have an inserted nasal wünschen, English word wish. So the old meaning was to wish or to will, um, and in Sanskrit it's come mostly to have the meaning of power, and in the sense of exerting your will, exercising your will over something else. So paravasham means other power, other willed, or other powered, meaning under the power of something else. Yadvashang sopichavashaha. Right. So now, if you are avashaha, if I put it here as avashaha, meaning unwilled, literally, unpowered. In other words, you are not acting under your own will or wish or self-powered. You're acting under the power dominion of something or someone else. So, yadvashang, literally, which powered, meaning that under the power of which, that under the and yadvashang, that under which power you are, sopi cha avasha, that too is also powerless or acting under the power of something else. I'm a little bit puzzled, and I remain puzzled. I haven't quite worked it out. Why this so yadvashang sopi chavasha? This is expressed in the masculine. So saha api cha avashaha. This is masculine. I'd have expected it to be neuter. I'll tell you why. So paravashang sarvam, everything, neuter singular, paravasham is other powered, under the power of something else. So far, so good. Yadvashang, that under whose power it is, I would have expected this in the neuter. Um, tad api cha avasham. But there it is in the masculine. If it had been in the neuter, I'd have had no qualms. Putting it in the masculine, I don't quite follow. The meaning, however, is undisturbed. That's completely clear. So everything is under the power of something else. Yadvasham, that under whose power it is, sopi cha avasha, sopi cha avasha, that too is powerless. In other words, it's in the same boat. It's not operating under its own power. It's operating under the power of something else. So nirmanavat. I've done an etymological note on nirmana. It means measuring out, and ultimately it came to mean, by extension, I should say, it came to mean magic, and then like a magic show where the magician is creating things. He's not really creating them, but it's the illusion. So this Shantideva here is saying that, like a magic show, how can you get angry at things that are themselves incapable of their own movement? So Nirmanavat, this suffix vad, or vat in the neuter, on its own, the word is nirmanavat, means magic-like, magic show-like, like a magic show. Acheshteshu bhaveshu kwa kupyate. Kwa means, originally means where, and it's sometimes used as a rhetorical question, means how could it happen? So kup, to get the root meaning is you know, agitation and then anger. So kupyate, kwa kupyate, how could one be angry? Um, I'll just explain that verb, which I see that I haven't done. Actually, let me call up Monia Williams. Here we are, Monia Williams. Here we are. So, kup. Let me turn off the highlight off. Here we are. So, kup, to be moved, agitated, or excited, and then to swell or heave, and then to get angry. And that's the most common use, I should say, the most common meaning that we see this word used in, to be angry. We have kopa, and there's the more common word krodha, meaning anger. It's a class 4 parasmaipada and atmanepada, P and A, parasmaipada and atmanepada. Class 4 meaning that it adds a y after the root, so it's not kopati or something, it's kupyati or kupyate. So qua kupyate, so kupyate is just the third person singular, he, she, or it gets angry. It's used here in an impersonal sense, meaning, how can one get angry? So, qua kupyate, how can one get angry? Now, what you're angry at goes in the locative, usually goes in the locative, as it is here. Acheshteshu bhaveshu. How can you get angry at, have I explained it here, at motion, at unmoving, at things or phenomena that are incapable of motion. So, cheshta is a movement. Primarily, it's a movement of the body. A bhava from root bhu, to be. Most commonly, it's used to mean a state or condition, but it can be used to mean just things, even sentient things, or beings, I should say. So here it's acheshteshu bhaveshu, with motionless things. Here, what it by motionless, it means incapable of moving of their own volition. So they require something else to put them in motion. So this word cheshta, I've actually done, since I posted this analysis, I've done an etymological note on it, which I hadn't spotted before this morning, actually, or hadn't looked up before this morning. It comes from the Proto-Indo-European root. Let me just call it up for you. It shows what fun you can have if you look up the etymology of these things. Pause for a moment. I've called it up for you. Sorry, I've lost. Here we are. The moving of the limbs, so a cheshta, motionless, incapable of producing motion on your own. Oops, sorry, it's gone funny again. Lost my place. So I find. Here we are. Sorry, I was fumbling about. Interesting etymology from the Proto-Indo-European k, to move, which in Greek with an added nasal becomes kin, as in kinetic and cinema, and the Latin kieo, to set in motion, and incitare, to incite. So there are cinema and incite. Incite means get something moving, arouse it to motion, from that same root from which we have cheshta. So I'll put this down now. Here we are. So by nirmanavat, like a magic show, meaning here means in the same way that you would react to seeing a magic show. As magic show-like, as if you are watching a magic show. You wouldn't get annoyed at puppets, for example, because you realize you aren't angry with the puppet doing something wrong, because you realize the puppet is just, you know, on the fingers of the puppeteer, or controlled by the strings of the puppeteer, which is the idea that's being expressed here. So when you see people doing evil things, you should not get angry with them, because they are acting under the power of something else, like in a magic show. It's slightly related to the Christian idea. You hate the sin but love the sinner. It's the same kind of idea that's being expressed here. So I'll just read it through again. Evam paravashang sarvam yadvashang sopi chavashaha nirmanavad acheshteshu bhaveshu kwa kupyate. And once more, evam paravashang sarvam yadvasham sopi chavashaha nirmanavadacheshteshu bhaveshu kwakupyate. And I think I had this, this, some of you may have spotted, that ought to be an anuswara. Anuswara again here. So that's it on this video.